In many developing countries, building a PC used to mean something important. It wasn't just about gaming, it wasn't just about performance. For millions of people, a personal computer symbolized progress, education, opportunity, and connection to the modern world. But today, that dream is slowly disappearing. Not because people stopped caring, but because the system made it too expensive to participate. For a long time, owning a PC meant access. Access to education, access to skills, access to global opportunities. In many poorer countries, a computer was often the most valuable object in a household. Families shared one PC. Students learned basic programming on it. Teenagers discovered design, editing, and technology. A PC was not entertainment first, it was a tool for growth. And for years, people believed that if they worked hard enough, saved long enough, they could eventually build one. That belief is now fading. The problem didn't start overnight, it started quietly. PC components became more expensive globally. But in developing countries, prices didn't just rise, they exploded. A graphics card that costs $300 in the US can easily cost $600 or $800 elsewhere, sometimes more. This happens because of several factors working together: import taxes, weak local currencies, logistics costs, and low demand. Each factor alone is manageable. Together, they create a wall that most people cannot climb. Let's compare reality. In the United States, a mid-range PC might cost around one-third of a monthly salary for a young professional. In many developing countries, the same PC can cost 3 to 5 monthly salaries. That means building a computer is no longer a purchase. It's a financial commitment. People don't compare GPUs by performance anymore. They compare them by how many months of life they cost. When technology starts competing with rent and food, the decision becomes obvious. Imagine a student who wants to learn video editing. He checks the recommended system requirements. Nothing extreme, just a mid-range GPU and a decent CPU. In his country, that GPU alone costs the equivalent of $900. He saves around $30 per month after basic expenses. At that rate, it will take him more than 2 years to buy one component. By the time he succeeds, the hardware is outdated. This is not a rare case. This is the normal experience for millions of people. Global tech companies focus on large markets. This is not evil, it's business. The US, Europe, China, Japan, and South Korea generate most sales. Smaller countries simply don't matter enough financially. As a result, fewer shipments arrive, prices increase, stores close, and competition disappears. When only one or two retailers control the market, prices become artificial. Consumers lose all leverage. When new components become impossible to buy, people turn to used hardware. At first, this helps, but over time, it creates new problems. Used prices rise, scams become common. Mining-worn GPUs flood the market. People end up saving for months, not for something new, but for something already damaged. That's when enthusiasm dies. A hobby turns into survival. PC building is not just gaming culture. It's the foundation of digital skills. Programmers, designers, editors, engineers. Most of them started on a simple home PC. When people lose access to affordable computers, entire career paths disappear. Talent still exists, motivation still exists, but access does not. When PCs become unreachable, people move to alternatives. Mobile phones, consoles, cloud services. These options are easier, cheaper, more accessible. But they don't teach how computers work. They don't encourage experimentation. They don't build technical confidence. A generation grows up consuming technology, not creating it. PC building is not dying because people stop loving it. It is dying because the global system made it a privilege instead of an opportunity. And until access to technology becomes more equal, millions of potential creators, developers, and innovators will never get the chance to begin.